everyone. Welcome to Kelly and Wrighty. Nice weekend?
Very nice weekend. Great weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Five-star weekend?
It was a five-star. Nice one, Kels. Five-star weekend.
We are, of course, going to talk about yesterday's extraordinary result at the Emirates. Arsenal put 5 past Man City in an emphatic display to ensure that the title race continues.
And speaking of emphatic, Nottingham Forest responded after last week's 5-0 thrashing by Bournemouth by scoring 7 against Brighton.
That's when you go into letters rather than numbers.
Yes.
And more goals for Everton and Wolves. They both had big wins with big ramifications at the bottom of the table. We will chat relegation in part 3, but we're going to start in North London. And just in case you missed it, Manchester City fans, look away now. And that resounding win for Arsenal keeps them 6 points behind front-runners Liverpool, who play their game in hand against Everton next week on the 12th. Forest tighten their grip on the top 4 with a huge win over Brighton. City is still in the top 4 for now, but Chelsea can leapfrog them with a win against West Ham this evening. Bournemouth, Villa and Fulham all still in the hunt for European football next season. Into the bottom half, and Palace go above Manchester United after their 2-0 win at Old Trafford. Spurs also climb after their first win in 8 at Brentford. Everton are now 9 points clear of the drop zone following 3 wins on the spin for free-scoring Everton. And it's looking increasingly likely that the battle to avoid relegation is now a 4-way fight. Although that win for Wolves might just... Yeah. How was that?
You know what?
5-1 win over Manchester City?
It was a obviously it's a welcomed win because, like Liverpool, you have to stay in touch.
You're TV righty about this now.
No,
You're doing the
no. Let me finish, Kels. Liverpool, you have to stay in touch, but City come in there with a City, there's a little bit of a resurgence in how they were playing. They started to get it, but what I saw with Arsenal yesterday was a team that, when they take the chances, even though Kai missed a great chance, unfortunately for him, they are superlative in what they do in respect of the confidence that it gives the team, how well the team played, how well they pressed. You know, they never let up at all. And even with... I've listened to people talking about Kai Havertz in the first chance, and they're saying he wasn't confident enough to take it on himself. He squared it to Martin. I've seen him so many occasions where a player goes through, because they're in low form, low esteem, and what they're doing, Kaz and Darren, they take a shot what they shouldn't, and you think, easy, I square it to him, we go 1-0 up, we get into the game, everybody gets the confidence, and I might get one later. And that's what happened. But what I saw was Arsenal take chances and did not give them a sniff, didn't give them a chance, apart from the one
the goal that they scored, yeah.
Which was a great movement from him. But in the main, with everything what happened there, obviously, Miles Lewis-Skelly and you know, even Thierry coming on to 17-year-old and 18-year-old thrown in at this end of what's going on with Arsenal, and then the team playing like that against a proper team in City, and what, you know, that's the second time that's happened to Pep, right? 5, he's in 5. It was magnificent. It was brilliant. The stadium was unbelievably rocking last night. It was brilliant.
Do you think it's a significant win in terms of the title race?
No, I still think it's Liverpool's. I really do. But I think, it's still, the hunt is going on, maybe with other competitions that they might be focused on, but Arsenal have the same situation. Maybe they might drop points here and there, but I think you're looking at Liverpool, you look at the squad depth, you know, it's in their hands. From my opinion, it's theirs to lose. But Arsenal have to do what they have to do, keep everything in control as much as they can and keep putting the pressure on. But ultimately, it's for Liverpool to drop. But, you know, if you're in Arsenal's camp, you're like, these are the standards we want. We want to go and beat into the end. If anything else happens, great. But they're also in the competitions as well. And I think they've got a great chance in the other competitions. Champions League, I think they've got a great chance because of how they defend. So, look, it's like I said, for me, Liverpool are the team to beat, but you just got to stay in the hunt.
Absolutely.
Well, what do you think that game told us about Arsenal's title chances, Darren?
I think they're still in it. I still think, personally, I don't know if you can call anything in January or February. I think you get to April, Easter, so Alex used to always say, and then you can start to think about who's in it or not. But what it spoke to was their determination, their character, because it could have been easy after all the setbacks they've had. An old Arsenal would have given up, but this Arsenal is really, really strong. What was quite key about the goals, it's the first time that Guardiola in Premier League history, well, since he's been in the Premier League, has conceded 5 goals from open play. And it was the quality of those goals. I don't think it takes away the need for a number 9, But I do think that it speaks to the fact that there are players in the Arsenal team who can take responsibility, and the way they did it was fantastic.
Yeah, and it puts Arsenal, as you say, in pole position to capitalise on anything that may come their way.
Yeah.
Look, you mentioned Miles Lewis-Skelly there. He's been getting rave reviews for his performances, but then there's the history with Haaland, isn't there, from the last fixture, where Haaland at the end of it said, in effect, who are you? And told him to stay humble. And there was all that kind of...
He told our manager to stay humble.
Told the manager to stay humble, but told Miles Lewis-Skelly, asked Miles Lewis-Skelly who he was at the end. So when he scored, he did the Haaland celebration.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
What, ill-advised or
No, I think that from me, you know, in his moment, that's what he wants to do in the so-called rivalry that we've got with City, which I don't believe we're rivals with City. City are way ahead of us in respect to what we're doing, but because we've kind of caught them up and we're trying to chase them down, I think they're more rivals with Liverpool. Now all of a sudden it's a rivalry. It's not a rivalry, it's going to build into a rivalry. And these things are what help build a rivalry. Like what Erling Haaland said to him, what Erling Haaland said to our manager, is something that's in that dressing room. It's in there and it's part of what's going on. It's part, you know what, it's good to see players a little bit more free to feel like they can do something like that. He now, like I said, Kels, he's going to have to deal with what comes with, you can give it, so then now, that's what he's got to deal with. Yeah, I could take that, give it to me. Because when I get my chance, I'm going to give it. Yeah. This is all started by City. So now Arsenal reacting with this. They've got a song as well. I'm seeing now. So
when you not on here, you're not saying it.
They've got a song. Oh, do you understand what I'm saying, Kels?
But Karen, but you've been a young player coming in and playing against established players who've won, you know, trophies, major trophies in the game as Erling Haaland has. What's your take on it? On the kind of
I was more like Miles. I was quiet, like didn't speak off the pitch, but I would have given it as well. But you know, you got to back it up.
That's the thing.
And so I definitely had people that say to me, like, who are you? And like, look at me, I'm like skinny and little and whatever. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And I would have given it. I was cocky. Like, but you need that element. You need that. And maybe as you get older, you don't necessarily need to do that. But I love that. He did it against Spurs. I love that we are seeing a personality. We're seeing a character in him. Yeah. I love that about him, Miles. So I think as long as he continues to back it up, he's got the quality.
With Gabriel, it's different, isn't it? Where he's kind of a more
Premier League
player, and he's shown in the Premier League winners' medals.
That is what it's about, because, like I say, that's what you know. That's what you do. You give people stick. I remember, like Roy Keane will always say, he said, "I've got a cabinet at home full of losers' medals." It drove me on. It's the thing, what you do, it gets you going. But what I would say with Erling Haaland, and I was hearing people saying it's disrespectful because he's that. But you have to give respect to earn respect. And I think that what Erling Haaland done is open himself up to, if you can speak like that to an 18-year-old who's making his debut, just coming in, and you can speak to me, then why should I show you any respect? Yeah. You know, it's kind of like, that's how it should be. And so when they play, you know, let it rain, man.
For us in the media, it's sensational. We love it. We love the subplots. We love the beef.
We love the beef.
Honestly, we love the beef. But, you know, and like you said, if you bring it, you have to back it.
That's all it is. That's all
everyone's watching everywhere. They will be saying the same thing, whether you're an Arsenal fan and you're happy about what happened, whether you're a City fan and you're happy with what Guardiola said afterwards, because you're thinking, you wait until we meet you next time. Yeah, whether it's in the Champions League.
I tell you what, if this had been the 80s or the 90s or even earlier, that would have been a very much, we'll see you next time on the pitch. It could have been pretty brutal, but it's not where we are at this stage. So Miles Lewis-Skelly gets the goal, he gets the chance to kind of have his say back, if you like, to Erling Haaland, and we'll see where that takes them towards the end of the season. You enjoyed it, and I tell you what, the Arsenal fans enjoyed seeing you at the Emirates, didn't they? You got a big send-off at the end of the coverage.
I know, it was really nice. You know what's good is because you don't get to see them often. You know what I mean? I don't really do too many outside broadcasts and that, so it's only once in a while. So just to see them, and it's nice.
Did they ask you for the photo, or did you ask them?
I was asking them for photos, but you know what happens? You go across. This is what happens. You go across and you see a little, and then it just comes down, and then you just feel it. It makes you feel. It's nice. Yeah. It's nice. You know what I mean? They know how much I love them.
You lost your hat there.
I nearly did. He's tried to take it. Yeah. He tried to take it.
It's nice to celebrate with people that want to celebrate with you. It's really nice.
We went through a lot together, me and those fans, especially the away fans. you know, so to still get the love, it's always nice. But it's just nice that they're back in the team how we want the team back to now, because it can go very toxic very quickly.
Do you know what? It could have been even better for Arsenal, because for Liverpool, this was meant to be a game that was a bit of a tricky fixture for them. This could have been a bump in the road against Bournemouth. And while it wasn't a classic performance, it was effective.
But that's what's great with Liverpool, is that we'll always speak about the fact that but when you're going for the title and you're up there and you're winning, you win games like that. We saw what happened with Darwin Núñez coming on at the end there and scoring. Who was that against? That was against Brentford. We've seen how they're capable of doing that, and Bournemouth at the moment are playing very well, you know. But Liverpool, you know, defensively, and we know what they've got going forward, and how calm and everything is. They just seem so in control of it, Kels. And this is why people are saying, like Kaz is right to say, they just look comfortable. They look like they're in go mode, you know? And I can't see who is going to make them stumble. It's going to have to be some kind of calamitous mistakes or something from Liverpool, but I can't see it.
Do you look at Liverpool, right, and think that they can bring on weapons when they're in trouble?
Yeah.
And that's why we've got to get a number 9 so that we can stay with them.
Well, that's exactly right. We needed a number 9 even when everyone was fit. In the case of Arsenal, we've needed that, you know, and I think them trying to get Ollie Watkins or going in for it is something that they should have been doing, because I think that when you look at how Arsenal played yesterday, and again, with no number 9, and the way they scored and the way they played after they went in front, Kells, if you have got that number 9 who's waiting for a half chance like how Haaland was, people talking about how many touches he has, you know what I mean, get the ball in the box to him, he will score. That's what we need. Somebody that might not be involved, but when you get the ball in there, if it's a half chance, he's going to take it. And that then gets you to really build yourself in the games, Kel. You're scoring goals what isn't really constructed. It's just out of the blue by a striker. Those are the things that we need.
Educate me here, because everyone goes on about the number of touches. But for me, I watched the great Paolo Rossi in '82, right?
Yes.
The goal hanger supreme, right?
Brilliant,
but to me, it doesn't matter how many touches you get if you score the decisive touch. Are you both bothered?
You know something? Go on, Kaz.
No, I don't even... I think Salah at the weekend, I don't think he was, like, involved in everything, but 2 goals, get on the bus, 3 points, see you later. So as long as you do the business, it doesn't really matter.
When you look at Erling Haaland and what he's capable of doing, I remember he had 11 touches in one against Forest. He scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't understand why people keep talking about it. When you look at how he has to wrestle with Saliba or Gabriel Magalhaes outside the box, and how tough it is for him. He looks like he can't get... When he was in the box, did you see how easily he moved Saliba to the point he got in front of Saliba? Because that's where he does his work. So if Man City are getting the ball into the place where they can't deal with his physicality, then get the ball in there, but Man City don't do that.
But that's what's interesting with City, and we've kind of come back around full circle to that game, but that's what's interesting about them, is that they haven't... There's a lot of individual players in there who haven't fired on all cylinders, and there have been green shoots of recovery over the last few weeks. But when you put in the performance that they did against Arsenal, you come out on the wrong end of that scoreline, suddenly everything looks a lot less rosy. And when you look at the fixtures that Manchester City have got coming up across their next 7 games, they've got the game coming up against Leyton Orient, obviously, in the FA Cup. Real Madrid twice, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham, again, unknown quantity, and Nottingham Forest. I mean, they are significant.
Games.
I mean, this feels almost season-defining for Manchester City. This
that when I watch
fixtures.
City is how poor they are in transition, and I look at Real Madrid and think their front line, and look at Newcastle, you know, how good those teams are when they win the ball, you know. I mean, Real Madrid, we've seen them in the Champions League, they don't really care for defending. Same as Barca, they'll just go, we'll outscore you.
And the results haven't been there, but they're still, as you say, very
I'm going to commit heresy now and disagree with you guys in so much as, I know, don't chuck me out. Let me just say it first.
No, man.
But I think that Real Madrid's defending is underrated. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, they're guys who provide the protection for Rudiger and Militao.
Or Asensio. No, that Asensio's good as well, that Asensio.
Exactly. And I think that because historically Real Madrid have been quite a free-scoring team, that defensive side of their game is underrated. But the irony is that Camavinga and Tchouaméni are the kind of player that City need. That's why they bid for Nico Gonzalez today, because I think they know they cannot possibly hope to achieve anything if they don't have protection for the back four. They haven't got a player that can provide it with Rodri not available. I'm surprised they haven't maybe made a move for Edison at Atalanta. Maybe Atalanta have said, look, we're in the Champions League, we don't want to sell him. But they've got to get protection for the back four, because without that, they can't possibly beat Real Madrid or finish in the top four.
And that's the thing, is that is their Champions League aspirations then for the season, if they don't beat Real Madrid. And then they've got those really tough... I mean, I know they've got Leyton Orient in the FA Cup, but they've got those really, really tough games coming up against the teams around them in the league.
And watching them as well, there was a lot of play where it wasn't penetrative at all. It wasn't. This is what I'm saying. Like Haaland, he must be so frustrated, but then he's just waiting if it comes in. That's what he's doing. If it comes in the box, hopefully I'll get. Because they're not releasing the ball quick enough. You look at Foden and his contribution it was so lacking output, creativity.
I thought City were better when they played Chelsea and went direct. Just went back to front quick and, got it into them, the higher players, a lot quicker. But then, obviously, the game becomes stretched. And that's when I mentioned they're so vulnerable then in transition. And it's like, physically, they just get out. Yesterday, they got outran against PSG. They got outran. The physical element of the game is like, 2 seasons ago, they were all 6 foot and you couldn't get past them. You couldn't beat them physically. They were quick. Like, they've just... Unfortunately, football sometimes works in transitions and periods, and they're out of that cycle and they've got to go to a new one now.
Are we back to questioning whether City finish in the top 4 yet?
I think we are now.
I think we are,
We are, because they just don't know that position. Get that player, I think they do.
Yeah, that didn't look convincing yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, this is what the result means for the title race. Arsenal are 6 points behind leaders Liverpool, who play their game in hand against Everton a week on Wednesday. Manchester City, meanwhile, remain 4th, 15 points adrift of top spot, the defence of their title hanging by a thread. Can Arsenal reel in Liverpool?
When you think of the Arteta reign, everything's been going forward. Each season getting closer to Manchester City. And if Arsenal don't win the league this season, it'll feel probably like the first time in his era where it'll almost feel like you've taken a step back in some ways. Not because they don't win the league, but because it's Liverpool and not City. And I think if Arsenal draw that game today, I think we're all saying the league's done. If Liverpool's got the game in hand, and that's what I think Arsenal are playing on week in, week out. They need to bring this gap back, not let it to go sort of 2 points further on.
Apparently, Mikel said that the benchmark was obviously Man City when he's been asked that first question. In terms of consistency of winning leagues and leagues and leagues, yes, but this year the benchmark is Liverpool by a distance.
So you still think Liverpool are going to win the league? Is what you say?
Listen, I think if Liverpool beat Everton next week, I don't see
think it's
how...
done?
Well, I don't see how Arsenal come back with 9 points.
Come on,
I'm not certain, don't worry about that.
Say it's done.
No, I don't think Arsenal will be able to catch them.
So it's done.
But I think if Liverpool didn't win that game and it was 6 or 7 points, that's still enough if you're Arsenal to keep you hungry.
If Liverpool get past Everton, we're all going to be saying, are City going to be able to take points off Liverpool and so on and so on. Can Arsenal stay in the race all the way until May when they actually got to play Liverpool as well? But this is, you guys know, you've been winners yourselves. At this stage of the season, you just can't drop points anywhere, can you? And even the game on Wednesday night, which Mikel has referred to, how do you handle that? You're 2 down against Newcastle. Do you want to be...
You'd rather be chasing.
Throwing your emotion into the Carabao Cup.
I would rather be chasing. When we won the league, we went ahead against Man United, against the great Fergie sides and all that sort of stuff. When we got ahead, we was nervous. As soon as we took that pressure away and was behind, 6 points behind, we were just playing freely. Arsenal at this moment, of course there's going to be pressure. A big statement today, but everyone's expecting Liverpool to win the league, so I think it's less pressure for Arsenal. If Liverpool win, they go 9 points ahead.
I totally disagree. I totally disagree with that.
But what, in terms of what, though?
Well, number one, I think you'd rather be in front. But in terms of the pressure situation, I understand what you're saying. The team in front, everyone expects Liverpool to win. But I think we're at a stage with Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. We were talking 5 or 6 years in now, aren't we? Where they have to win big. They have to, and I do feel if they don't win the league this year, it'll almost feel like a step back. The years before that have been, they're getting closer.
Right, this is the moment where Michael, I look up to another giant, none bigger than the Arsenal legend and former captain Tony Adams. Big smile on your face as well,
big
Tony.
Smile, mate. Big smile.
How good was that?
Fantastic. Got a couple of leg ups. Man City made some horrific errors early on, and we took advantage of it and then buried them.
That's the crucial thing. They haven't been taking
Absolutely.
chances in recent weeks. They did today.
Phenomenal. Great. It's great to see the kids coming on and playing so well. And Miles, he's invented this new position, hasn't he, Miles? It's like, we used to have inside forwards. We've got inside defenders now. Got like inside left back. You know, can you imagine Nigel or Dicko? You're like, get out of there. It's
brilliant.
Phenomenal. What a kid. What a prospect, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You were eulogising about him, weren't you, right in front of us?
Yeah, well, we've seen, obviously, we've got so many great players here, established players, but a couple of youngsters, Tony, at 17 and 18. I mean, the future looks bright as well, and I'm told that the academy is quite strong in behind it. So
yeah, we've had Saka in recent years come through as well. You've got to get, you know, when you've got Man City and the model that they've got with the structure of multi-clubs and all these players coming into the 350 million wage bill, you have to be creative. You have to work on your youth team and bring kids through or be sensible in the transfer market. Who'd have thought Havertz had been playing like he is, to be honest with you? He's a complete gamble for us. And he's not... Wrighty, he's a great finisher, no?
The movement in that tone is fantastic, but because it's not natural to him like it would be to me and Mike, simply because we're constantly training in that way. He wasn't doing that. He's come here and he's turned into a forward. So he's doing all that stuff on the fly. So like, see with the first chance, you think to yourself, he looked like he weren't ready for that, whereas we'd probably be ready for that. Know exactly who the second one, when he's running onto it, he can cut inside and finish it with a plum. It's because he's got that ability. But
you would have but greatest Michael as well.
Slovan country here.
But when you're so dynamic in that position, you're not going to get someone that floats out and creates space for other people as well. Goals are coming from all over.
Yeah.
Back in your day, you could score 30 goals and no one else used to score. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, because he's creating space, the inside guys coming off the line, playing him, feeding with him, you get goals from other areas.
And that's what we've done. We've done that last season. We had 4 or 5 of our players had 10 goals each. And that's what I think was the model. But then obviously once you do get into certain games, you know what it's like as well when it's going against you, and then you get that striker who can nick the goal, Aguero, Owen, you know, that kind of stuff. Fowler. You were talking about someone when it's not going for the team, and you need someone to get half a chance and take it. I think in some instances that's what Arsenal need to then settle down and play like they can play like that.
To take us to the next level.
Absolutely.
To actually win the league.
That's what we want.
Like
yeah,
that.
that's what I'm
completely agree with you.
That's what I'm thinking, Skip.
What about this season, though? I mean, what if they don't get one in the next 24 hours, which is highly unlikely at this stage of the season?
I think they're fall short of again. Both squads there today have been hit by injuries, and we just didn't have enough strength in depth. Last couple of seasons when Saliba got injured, we didn't have the quality that went in and substituted him, unfortunately, and we fell away and come second again. And if you're not careful, Liverpool, with Mo Salah in particular, he had a rest during the summer. These guys have been playing for 2 years, you know, World Cups, European Championships, top of their games, and they've just, you know, we've really, you know, we've won 5-1 without Saka, and Saka's where we are, you know, today because of that kid. You know, he's been phenomenal for us. So it's really difficult to actually keep going and keep going and keep going. You're going to run out of steam. You're going to get injuries. That's why the best squad wins the league. And at the moment, Liverpool are just getting too many wins for me. They're too strong. They're too balanced. And we're going to have to win every single game, to be honest with you, to go above them. And I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to hope. And like today's result, and Liverpool will look and I say, it's a good result for you. 5-1 City. Of course, you're going to look at that and think to yourself, oh, that's pretty impressive. But again, Liverpool are very much in command of their own destiny right now. They've got players who are experienced at this level of the season. They know how to finish off a season like this, and they've got very good young players who coming through into it as well. So you just feel like it's going to take a calamitous mistake from Liverpool for it to happen. But at the same time, Arsenal just have to keep doing that. Just keep beating teams. And if it does happen, then they've got to be ready to take the chance.
And if you're in that dressing room now, to do that in that manner would be an injection of confidence and belief at this stage, Tony?
To be fair, they'll probably play it down. It's just 3 points. Back in my day, it was 3 points, move on. It's all about preparation and recovery today. And they'll be thinking about the next game. And, you know, everyone they were singing it in the crowd. Everyone, can we play you every week? You know what I mean? Man City are perfect to play at the moment. Yeah, how the champions have fallen. But, you know, they will recover, by the way. And we need to go and you need to beat Liverpool this season because Man City have come a game. They're too good not to. You know, they've got too many quality players, and they'll go again in the transfer market, and he'll get things right. But I just think they made so many. I was up with George Graham before the game, and we were both going, "My God, this is heart attack football." You know, it's so open. It's great for the public. They love the 5-1. I'm sitting up there going, "Oh, Saliba, come on, clean sheet. What's he doing getting inside?" Anyway, what did I answer your question?
City, has Tony got a point? Are they giving too many teams chances at the moment?
Yeah, they're poor at the moment. They're fragile. They haven't been fragile for so long. You know, they've been involved in games where they've been able to dictate and dominate, and when they've got in the lead or when they've had that little blip, you know, they've conceded a goal, not a problem. They've got one back and then gone on to win. Arsenal, you could tell today Arsenal had no fear today, and I said it before. I've been to a few Manchester City games, and teams don't fear them. They respect them, of course they do. They know what they're capable of, but they don't see, for example, that goal coming back in today, and Arsenal didn't roll their eyes. The stadium didn't feel it. They didn't go, "Oh no, here we go, we've lost our chance." To immediately score again and then to want to score more, the slight fear factor that City have built up and deservedly built up through the years has slightly gone. But I agree with Tony. They'll go back to the drawing board. They're too good. They're too well invested, and this is a great opportunity for Arsenal to topple City. But they've got to chase Liverpool now, who have also had the same mentality.
How about our goalie?
Honestly,
two crucial
so important. You know what a title-winning goalkeeper does.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what David Seaman did behind you. He didn't necessarily have much to do, but every now and again you looked at him, you gave me a nod, and you said, "Nice one, Dave. Away we go. We'll go and win the game for you now." And he was excellent today, and he's really growing because he was a Brentford goalkeeper. Now he's a proper Arsenal title contending goalkeeper.
Fascinating to see what happens with Manchester City in the coming weeks, because as the guys have just mentioned, once a team gets a sniff that there's a vulnerability there, and now people can say, "Oh, Manchester City, they're playing out from the back again, we can go and win the ball." Everybody will have watched that game today, and even the lesser teams in the Premier League will think, right, and now almost Manchester City are going to have to play through the pain barrier, play through a hardship, and almost put manners on other teams again and pop it round and do what they used to do. But they might have to go through a bit of pain in the meantime, because a lot of people have lost a bit of respect for them in many ways, in terms of they know that they can get at them now.
We'll talk about Manchester City and hear from Pep Guardiola shortly, but before we let Tony go, I just want to show you the incident with Gabriel and Haaland and get your reaction to this after Arsenal had taken the lead. Watch Gabriel here when the ball hits the back of the net with Erling Haaland, Tony, and you can take it away. We've heard Wrighty.
Okay, would you have done? To be honest with you, I'd rather Gabriel lift the trophy like that and then go phone him up and go, "Oh, by the way, we've just won the league." That'd be better. But that's on its way.
No, it's totally.
It's on its way.
Did you see a little bit of footage after? That's literally what Erling Haaland just did. He just showed him the champion's badge.
Exactly, yeah.
But I love it. You must have loved all that. You must have loved two. It's not like there was no bullying going on. The two colossal players having it.
Fantastic, and likewise I was really disappointed with Saliba, the way that he marked it. You know, it was ball and play, got too tight with the guy, got in front of him. You know, he'd be kicking himself in there, and we've got to learn from that. You know, but Gabriel, I loved that. You know, that was my game.
That was brilliant. It was great to see.
You were almost into your Spanish dance then.
I'm getting all excited. Well played, son. Come on.
You're right to be excited after a 5-1 against Manchester City. Tone, great to see you. Thank you very much, Tony Adams. They've forgotten, weren't doing what would he expect them to do in the last 25 minutes?
Yeah, I honestly felt that. He seems humbled this season in the fact that he knows they're going to lose games with how they're playing, and he's okay with that. He's always been okay with mistakes. You know, that's the high intensity that they play, and when it's not to the perfection and quite to the level, playing in the Premier League at the likes of the Emirates against a good Arsenal team, they can get hurt. But I felt that. I'm the same as him. Last 25 minutes, they just look a bit lost souls. What do we do here? Do we have to go and push for a goal, or do we defend deep? They just looked a bit lost, and that'll be really disappointing. That will hurt him a lot.
I think you can tell, because it's complete new territory for him, especially with this Manchester City team.
Exactly that, yeah. We're seeing something that we never thought we'd see. They're still a great team. They've still got great players. They're still searching for, you know, to get back where they were. It wasn't the worst performance in the world. I mean, at half-time, I came in and I was so, excited by what I'd seen. Two really good teams going at it. Arsenal first blood. Then they missed a chance to go 2-0. Then, Man City hit the crossbar. They had a couple of chances themselves. And at half-time, I thought, what a game this could be. Could go either way still. They started getting a little bit of control in that second half, in that second part of the first half, but then Arsenal came out and it was, it was phenomenal really. After they scored, after Man City scored, Arsenal just went into overdrive. So he'll be disappointed with that, of course he will, but all is not lost in many ways. There's still so many positives that he can take out of it, but Arsenal steamrolled them today, and he will be disappointed. Conceding 5 goals for only the second time, as you say, in his career is not something he'll want, but there we go, dust himself down and get back at it.
And that's all he can do, isn't it? And he said that himself, to challenge himself.
Yeah. He's in like that territory. He's not really too familiar being in, losing as many games. What's that? 11 games they've lost this season, 7 in the Premier League. And I think that even when you look at the last 25 minutes, you look at the way the team is, and they're not used to losing like that. There's almost like people are looking around to see, well, what we meant to do here, what's going on, because it looks so disjointed when they started to lose, and you're thinking, surely Manchester City are not going to just capitulate like this. And then they went a 3 and a 4 and a 5, and then you can look and you almost feel like the team's looking around to say, what do we do? This isn't meant to be happening to us. So what do we do from here? And again, because you can't blame it all on Rodri, but obviously this has started when Rodri came out of the team. He's a massive miss. He's a massive miss in there. And you have to mention him now, because the breaks, what people are breaking on City, that does not happen with him. I think the biggest problem that they've had, they haven't recruited well for the last couple of seasons, I personally believe, and that's why the Zubimendi thing went really we got to try and get him. It was a rushed thing, and I think that's the problem that Man City have had. They've not recruited well up to this point, and then people have got to that stage where they're getting a bit older and they're moving on. The young players are coming in, trying to settle, and he's trying to change a whole new maybe era of a team, and that's what they're going through at the moment. And you could see that in the way they lost today, because they didn't know where it came from. They were just like, what's going on here?
Well, the standards they've hit and the success they've had, for a lot of these players, they just haven't, as I was saying to Phil Foden, he just since he came into the team, he just hasn't had this experience in football.
Yeah, they haven't, but come on, they're not aliens, they're not from a different planet. They've seen there's great examples, there's so much learning to do, there's so many conversations. These aren't just turning up on a Saturday and thinking, if we sprinkle our wand over us, we'll start playing like Manchester City again. It's going to be hard work, that position. Obviously, Rodri is a huge miss, but he was out. He did, he's done his knee. He's out for a long, long time. You have to recover. You have to recoup. In the board, you have to have these discussions. Pep Guardiola has to have these discussions. Who can play there? Who can be as disciplined as Rodri? Who can help them in that way? So look, it's a difficult moment, but that'll be worrying. Like I say, last 20 minutes, those last 3 goals, in the way that the mentality shifted. There's some hard conversations to be had. It's big moments. The manager as well, he's going to be looking at himself, and I'm not saying they're not, because they're top professionals and they want the best out of it, but you can't have this long where you're looking for answers. There's answers out there. You can change this.
He's going to have to change it, because when you look at the fixtures that are coming up, they're not the easiest on paper for Manchester City. And obviously, they have those 2 huge Champions League playoffs against Real Madrid, home and away as well. They've got the cup tie, they've got Newcastle at home, they've got Liverpool at home, Spurs away, and Nottingham Forest. We all know how well they're doing. I mean, when you look at the next 6 weeks for Manchester City, they're season defining.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? And sometimes you can think, well, at least we're in the Champions League, and that's sort of, let's salvage something out of the Premier League, let's scrape 4th, and then we might be able to still salvage the season by winning the Champions League or by winning a big cup. Real Madrid. And the way they're playing at the moment, it's not like it's been over the last few years. And I know Real Madrid have beaten them, 2 of the last 3 years or whatever, and that's where Man City were playing brilliant. Man City are half the team they were now. I think they'll be really fearing that fixture now. And if they went out in the playoff stage of the Champions League and they're scrambling around in the Premier League, it'd be a disastrous season. There's still time to salvage it. There is still time. But as Joe said, it's not going to be a magic wand. This is going to be piece by piece, getting the odd player back, having a transfer window maybe. This is a team that's slightly broken, that needs a bit of fixing.
Yeah, they really do, and they need to address it. They need the big players to stand up. What was noticeable in the first half, when playing out from the back wasn't quite working, was the conversation between Pep Guardiola and John Stones. John Stones seemed like the person that he wanted to communicate with out on that field today to try and get him through the moments. And second half, when he was down the other end, they couldn't quite get to him, and I didn't see the communication. You need your leaders to stand up in these moments. Kevin De Bruyne being off the field and probably not being first pick at the moment, might have to readdress that, because when he's on, he really takes the game by the scruff of the neck. You need your big players standing up, your Kovacic's, your Gundogan's. You need these guys. Bernardo Silva's disappeared a little bit at the moment. You need them taking it by the scruff of the neck and letting everyone know it's all right. Stay with us.
Kyle Walker's come out of the squad as well, one of the big leaders.
It's massive, you know, and Nunez playing at right back, doing a great job for the team. But it's difficult. Like I say, you need people that you can look to, and you can, you know, even with the goalkeeping position, it's always great to have a number one behind you that you know is going to be playing and you know is focused and can kind of marshal his troops. Ortega, Ederson swapping a lot, few little injuries. All the big places, all the big spine of the team, apart from Erling Haaland, who we talked about as dangerous as he is to score goals, but he's not going to take the game by the scruff of the neck in that position.
OK, that's for City to come. We'll finish. I know they're still 6 points behind. They've played more game. But when you produce a performance and the atmosphere we've seen here today, Arsenal have to enjoy every moment of this tonight. Well, that's what football's all about.
Well, you do. They can't be. And I think you heard it from the captain there, Martin. He's saying they've just got to... You've got to take the next game and try and win that, because what Liverpool will be looking at is, can they continue doing that against teams? Because if they do, then we're going to have to continue doing it. And that's all you can have to do. Keep Liverpool having to win. Keep them under pressure. So if they do drop it, you're ready to catch it. And that's what I'm hoping, that this performance is what Arsenal are going to be doing now.
Yeah, just a little nudge to Merseyside tonight. Doesn't do any harm in the title race.
Yeah, Liverpool won't have enjoyed that today. They're in total control at the moment, but as Wrighty says, they're there ready to pounce if they slip up.
We've certainly enjoyed that today. Michael, Joe and Wrighty, as always, thank you very much indeed. Hope you enjoyed it wherever you were with us, live from the Emirates on Match Day Live, and a statement day from Arsenal Football Club. See you soon.